This is a different one that we are into. My name is Victor. This is Victor. And we are in a beer museum, beer garden. The German who are here. Let me show you. For the beer drinkers, my cousin Steve. This is where I need to be. Yeah.
So it's actually the other reason why we start here is for Dubon Circle. We're kind of looking at the Gilded Age part of American history, which is going to go about the 1880s to about 1910, 1914. And of all of those places, most of what we're going to see in the tour today are going to be original homes. This guy stands out very specifically because the Hurek House is the last remaining remnant of DC's brewing history. Not something we would think of DC today as like the center of like remade beer. In fact, there were so many breweries at one point in time, this was known as the City of Suns.
City of Suns.
City of Suns, isn't like the suns from the beer that you drink. There was that many brewers per capita, which is saying a lot because there's not that many people in DC, at least before like 1910. So the introduction to the things specifically, I should do that here.
You guys are past. Christian Hurek is going to immigrate to the United States about 1866, about a year after the war, the Civil War was completed. Now, when he sets up shop here, he kind of starts a small brewery with a partner named Paul Ritter. The two of them are going to rent this space that we're standing in from its owner, a guy named George Schnell. Now, in the 1870s, 1880s, what we're going to see is a huge influx of new wave of immigrants, especially those from... This is where a lot of the German brewing traditions happen on the East Coast. Like my family members are from Pottstown and Easton, Pennsylvania, respectively. And my grandmother's side were all brewers, so Keller would be the name. This is when beer got actually halfway decent in the United States.
Halfway decent.
Yeah, this beer was not the thing you would be drinking prior to the Civil War. It would be hard cider. That was the drink of choice. But here in DC, Paul Ritter and Christian Hurek are competing with a plethora of other German immigrants who've arrived to these shores, found their way to the nation's capital. Now, what ends up business with George Schnell. Schnell is going to die, kind of early on in their partnership. And so, Christian Hurek, being the nice, decent man he is, he's going to marry his widow, Amelia. Always good to his widow? Yeah, always good to marry your partner's widow in the case of the...
Interesting is America over the years has evilized wife inheritance, and I'm just learning that even George Washington inherited someone's wife.
Yeah. So, because Washington marries the widow in the county.
Right.
Curtis.
Martha.
Yeah, this is why you always marry up. But with that kind of partnership, he's also going to inherit through his wife the property here. This was Schnell's. Now, through that, he and Paul Ritter expand their operations. So they start making a lot more money. As a way to show his new sign of wealth, he's going to start building the house you walked past. What's interesting about the Hurek House, it will be the first fireproof home in DC. So when they're making it, they're actually using steel sort of framework, and then they're pouring the concrete in that way. So it's going to greatly reduce the chance of anything burning down. That is going to have about 19 fireproofed fireplaces in the house. Though ironically, at no point in his life will he light a single fire in any of them. He's still that much afraid of fires happening. Which makes sense. A lot of fires that have happened in DC have been things like gas lamps or oil lamps burning stuff down. But a few months before that house is finished, his Amelia dies. So then his second wife is going to be Emma, and she will be the brewery secretary. He marries in house. Once they move into the house, a few months after that, she dies. So this guy has terrible luck when it comes to scoring wives and having people around for a time. His third wife is going to be his first wife's cousin. First cousin.
His first wife's first cousin.
There's going to be a running theme of the kind of people being married off here in DuPont Circle.
Yeah.
But with all of this, even though he's going through wines faster than he can count, his business is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. He will become the largest employer of people in DC behind the federal government. That is how big the operations become. Not only that, but this space becomes too small, so he turns this into the backyard for his house. He built a much larger brewery on where the Kennedy Center is today. That's where the Kennedy Center replaced. In the 1950s, the government's going to buy that spot. And by this point, Christian Hierk is kind of the tail end of his career. So that is sort of the last remaining remnant of DC's brewery history. The only thing that kind of is testament to that is the house. But it makes it a very, very unique thing, because so much of what you see in DC today, even with the Smithsonian's, are going to be from the modern era of time. Very little has survived from Washington's old history. Anything that's, say, pre-1900, it's just a small scattering of buildings. And that really includes the White House and the Capitol, which are like the first here.
Right.
Now, when they bulldoze the old brewery, where the Kennedy Center is, they're going to end up, there's a fire that happens in the archives, and it's going to burn all those original recipes of their brewery beers. In, 2018, it was like a student in University of like Seattle somewhere, like they're doing a research project. Somewhere in their archives, they pulled out an old recipe list for Senate beer. So that's how they resurrected this. So what you're drinking here today, or what you drink here today, whether it's Senate beer or their other labels, those are the original ones that Christian Hierk came out with. So that's kind of something very unique for DC.
Does this kind of beer still exist?
Yeah, they sell it right behind. It's like a little bit better than like Coors Light, Corona kind of thing. It's like kind of on that level.
It gets interesting when talking about the history of beer, but there's a deeper reason as to why we're doing the tour and really understanding. I hope you guys are finding this exciting. It's so exciting for me. I don't drink beer, but this is definitely an exciting thing to know. Knowledge is power, and when you know, it's good. So let's get into it. I hope you're enjoying. Drop a comment on the comment section. And yeah, what's interesting is you can sit out here and get your beer. So we're walking into the DuPont Circle, and we're going to talk about, we're going to hear or learn a little bit about the DuPont Circle. A question is made by my tour guide. He's asking what do I think about DC. Well, it's my first time here. First thing first, and two, it's very interesting to see how DC works. It's one of the countries in, it's one of the states, state-ish, that is what they say, in the country with the most number of immigrants. A lot of people, the Uber drivers, service providers, most of them are not Native Americans. Yes, they're not Native Americans, and they don't have voting rights except for the presidential votes. Elections, if I may say. This is the DuPont Circle.
DuPont Circle. Yep.
Samuel Francis DuPont
Of
Circle.
course, I'm going to find it the French again.
Yeah.
You sit down right over here if y'all like.
Right.
Sit in the shade. Give us some stories.
United States. Maybe.
Well, that's the fountain for DuPont. Reason DuPont. Oh, I'm not going to actually see the name here. It's named after an admiral from the Civil War, Samuel Francis DuPont. Now, Wallace, you might know this, but you might be unfamiliar for this one. The DuPont Company.
Mm-hmm.
So they get their start in Delaware selling gunpowder, saltpeter fruits. Now they're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. So most of the time, their family members are politicians or it's wealthy elites. On occasion, they'll serve in the military. So Samuel Francis will serve in Corpus areas. Maybe there can't be a Civil War general going on.
Sure.
He will actually battles that involve the ironclad ships. First time in naval history we use iron ships to attack each other. then he's going to get fired after he loses a battle down on the Carolinas. Yes. Anytime you see like a guy on a horseback somewhere in DC, it's going to be a Union general. We don't put the Confederate troops out here. Union general, Union capital for the capital for the Union. So at this time, it's the 1870s, post-Civil War, this area would have been called Pacific Circle, like the ocean. It's one of the furthest extensions of where people are living. Basically, there's a lot of empty land lots. There's a couple of people who live right behind. But if you were rich and wealthy in DC, you were actually living next to the White House. That statue of Andrew Jackson on horseback on the north side of the White House, that's Lafayette Square.
This would be which year? This would be which year?
That would be from like 1790 to about 1900.
Okay.
So this is, if you're of the old money kind, you're from sort of southern politicians, or you're foreign ambassadors, or you bought a lot of land in DC's beginning. You live close to the White House because you're close to political power, residents, right? So if you're in proximity to that, you're also going in the same circles everybody else is going. Yeah. They're going to be known as the cave dwellers.
The cave what?
Cave dwellers. They never leave outside their... They don't go that far from where they're at. But they do not like it for some reason.
So who is this again?
This is Samuel DuPont.
Ah.
This is of the DuPont family. This is where they'll rename the circle after him and them. So he sticks around till about 1912. Family gets real sick and tired of the statue being there. They don't really like it. They're going to get a guy named Daniel Chester French to make what you see in front of you. I bet that name doesn't ring a bell, but did y'all do the Lincoln Memorial on your trip?
Yes.
You know Lincoln sitting down inside the memorial?
Yes.
The same guy who made him made that.
Oh.
He's the sculptor for the Lincoln Memorial. So there are three figures on all sides, sail and walk and sea. 2 women, 1 gentleman on the others. So it kind of harking back to both when this was called Pacific Circle and the fact that Francis DuPont was a rear admiral in the Navy. I don't know about y'all, but I kind of like that statue a little bit better than just the guy with the whiskers and a sword. We have enough of those guys on horseback. This is kind of very creative. Yep.
Interesting history. So initially this was not the initial statue, and this statue, there was a statue here of the DuPont family, and they didn't like it, so they changed it to this. It's very sexualized, you know. Let me know what you guys think about it. So on the other side was the ladies, and then on this side is the gents. So the DuPont circle.
Quite to the brink of bankruptcy, but she's a lot closer to it than she'd prefer. And so there's a feeling amongst her friends that Catherine's never going to end up selling anything. But then World War I breaks out. And what we'll see here in DC is the foreign community, all the ambassadors from nations involved in the Great War, start descending upon DC because they want to see where the United States lies in all this. So she has no problem failing this. Is this a weird-looking guy with a mustache? His name is Andrew Mellon.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of him before? And do you mind if I ask what context have you heard of Mellon?
Financial.
It's one of our great financiers, a little bit like J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, J.P. Morgan Mellon, yeah.
Yep. But in particular, she becomes friends with a woman named Margaret Sanger.
Margaret who?
Margaret Sanger. You see, Catherine McCormick is the one who financed the birth control pill. That's her. Margaret Sanger is the one who creates it. She works with scientists to develop the pill. But Catherine is the one who funds it because she has the money to invest in it. And she does that while she's living here in Washington, D.C.
And what was the motive behind her funding?
She was very passionate about what Sanger was doing. She believed in what the birth control could do for women, kind of liberate them. But by the time it comes out in the 60s, Catherine McCormick's involvement and investment in it is largely forgotten. So she dies in like 1967. She's not even mentioned in the newspapers. But without her money, the birth control pill might not have been created. It really is very much thanks to her financial backing for that.
Interesting.
And she does it while she's living here. Yeah. And I didn't, at first when I did this tour, I didn't make the connection between the two, and then I was like, oh, it's that Captain McCormick. It's like, See, the gateway, they still have the grand staircase that Captain McCormick had built into the apartment complex. We might be able to see another one. These places, even if the interior they kind of altered or changed.
So this is the original, no renovations have been done.
I suspect in the lobby they may have opened up, because like when it was 6 apartments, you know, the apartments had multiple rooms to them. So I imagine they knocked some walls down to create smaller spaces, but one you're looking at is for Iraq. It's the Chancery of Iraq. Boardman is from Cincinnati, Ohio. When he moves the family out here, he's going to end up building this house. He's involved in politics back home. He's a big Republican Party boss in Ohio. What I love about this is the garage right there with the tiling. That was the first garage built for an automobile in DC. Yep.
The first garage.
Yeah.
What flag is that?
That would be for Iraq.
Iraq. Is it the Iraqi embassy now?
Yeah,
Yes.
Iraq embassy, or they call it the Chancery of Iraq. I don't know if they have an official embassy or not.
Is it called again?
This is the Patterson Mansion.
The Patterson
Patterson. This was called the Little White House because Calvin Coolidge is president and will live here for about a year. They were doing renovations of the White House during his tenure, so this will become the White House for a time. This is a luxury apartment complex. I can't afford to be over here. Come on over.
Like majors and like.
One of the most expensive luxury apartments, right?
Yeah. I had a friend of mine from school who used to live here, but that's because her family are Ecuadorian diplomats. So they can't afford it. I held it down. So I'll pause right here if you all wanted to come up a little bit closer to see inside. More of the at the far end to one end of Maryland, far behind us cuts to the other side of Maryland. You are kind of looking straight up what's known as Millionaires Row or Embassy Row today.
Millionaires Road.
Yep. These are all those mansions we've been talking about. There's to build it around the circle and then up this street this way. Or Rhode Island Avenue where the Heurich Brewery is, or the Patterson Mansion, that's the other crossroads of the building. Millionaire's thing will make sense in a concept.
But the guy's not at any point related to the DuPont.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Only the man who was named after, the circle's named after, is from the DuPont family. Everybody else is...
New money.
Yep. The new money. James Blaine was one of the more popular Republican candidaes when the party was created. He will run to be nominated as president 3 separate times, lose all 3. He will serve under James Garfield in 1881 as the Secretary of State. Now, while he's Secretary of State, in the State Department's building, he is being harassed by a unkempt man. He looks like a homeless person all the time. The guy who was harassing him was named Charles Guiteau. Guiteau believed in his mind that he had helped Garfield get elected. He did not. He wrote one pamphlet for the election process, and he crossed out the previous candidate's name and just put James Garfield. And he went, I helped the president win the election, I therefore should be named as consul to Paris. No qualifications whatsoever. But that is how it happened back then. If you wanted a job in the government, you basically solicited for one. But you had to kind of know who was in charge, and
Right.
you'd actually suffer. Yeah. So that's kind of how civil service worked. Now, Blaine here is going to deny Guiteau the chance. And so Guiteau thinks, well, this must be Garfield's fault. Guiteau is going to shoot Garfield in June of 1881 where the National Gallery of Art building is. Back then it was a train station. He shoots him in the back twice. First bullet went right through the president's coat, and he screamed out, "Oh my God, what is this?" And the second bullet, as you see, he's going to smack him in the back. Now, he won't die from the gunshot, but he will die 2 months later from a sepsis bacterial infection. That will kill him. Because his doctor's digging around in the hole without washing his hands or his tools. But germ theory exists by this point. The doctor refused to believe in new medical theories, so he's going to kill the president. Blaine will be fired by the vice president, who is now president. His reputation is tarnished by this event. Now he's going to run a third time, lose that nomination. He moves out west, and the wife sells it to the guy who invents the air brakes for the elevators. That's George Westinghouse. Westinghouse was an older gentleman here in Millionaires Row, but man with a lot of money. He liked throwing parties for the younger ladies down the block. Kind of Grandpa George. He had he had a good time hosting for the younger single ladies here in Washington.
Obi Chapman.
Huh? I mean, guy was married at the time, but he's like, I feel young and vigor again.
He's got to use it.
I don't know. Well, he's got a lot of money, and
So
no one's
this-
come to see this guy here.
So this
but
is the original.
this is the original house, yeah.
Interesting.
Cigarettes on the White House rooftops. You drive very fast cars in DC and New York.
What is her name again?
Alice Roosevelt.
So that's our original house.
Yes.
Okay.
Now she buys that with her husband Nicholas Longworth. He is one of our longest serving speakers of the House in the House of Representatives. That's who it's named after. And it's funny because he's everything her dad Teddy is not. He is a Lothario, he's a gambler, he's a womanizer, he's a schmooze hound, he's got game. But Alice, in her words, she liked to go for any man who had big money. Yeah, she liked the money. She also admitted that she had a daddy issue.
Ah.
Yeah. You see, the thing is, her mother died giving birth to her on the same day her grandmother passed away, Valentine's Day, 1884. So for the rest of her life, her dad, Theodore Roosevelt, would never call her by her first name. That was his first wife's name. So she always felt like she had to compete for her father's attention. Teddy Roosevelt was a big guy who liked his own attention. She used to say her dad liked to be every bride at every wedding, every baby at every baptism, and every dead body at every...
But why do you think she was everything the dad was not, while she was going for the man with money?
Yeah, I think
It's one in the same thing.
it's all a bit for attention.
Right, yeah.
What's also funny is she will run another candidate against her own husband when he runs for office again.
What?
He loses by 1 vote. And she would joke at parties, I'm worth at least 100 votes. Her husband lost by 101 votes.
Smart. Yeah, if she was the kingmaker, that makes sense why she rolled around money.
You know she's badass when Richard the White House.
Who is Richard Nixon?
He's a I'm not a prop.
He was a vice president under Eisenhower for 2 terms. Then he got elected. He got defeated by Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, because Nixon kind of looked old and tired, and John F. Kennedy was young and fresh. Scandal after scandal.
So
Indonesia.
Yep. So the Embassy of Indonesia owns this building today. But what you're looking at, this is called the Walsh-McLean Mansion. This is Evelyn Walsh-McLean. Her father, Thomas Walsh, makes his money in Colorado mining. He loves DC, and so he's going to have this mansion built. So she comes from money. She'll also marry into wealth. Her husband is Ned McLean, as in McLean, Virginia, named after the family. They owned the Washington Post newspaper at the time, amongst many other things. Now, Ned's a big drinker, and he lets Evelyn kind of wear the pants in the relationship. She kind of takes control of all the money and the affairs. And she's, again, big DC party socialite. She parties with Alice, she parties with Sissy and all the girls in the neighborhood. But see, in 1911, she does something interesting. She buys a necklace, 45.5 carats diamond with 46 diamond necklace attached to it from the Cartiers. Pierre Cartier sells her this necklace for $180,000. You guys did the Smithsonian Highlights tour, right? American History, Natural History?
Yes.
Did you see the Hope Diamond?
Yes.
Well, guess where?
Here you go.
This is where she lived with the Hope Diamond. This is where it was.
All right.
Yeah. So when she would throw a party, she'd be wearing that inside. She would do party tricks, like put it around her Great Dane dog to wear. She'd like throw it into the pool and have kids go swim for the Hope Diamond. But the bad accidents that happened to her family, one of the kids is hit with the car right outside here. So she dies in 1947, and when Harry Winston bought that diamond, she had it hidden away in this house in a shoebox in her bedroom. Wow. Yeah. So the Hope Diamond, this is the infamous house in which it was held. And so when she goes here or to any other parties, to the next stop will do, to Alice's house or the Patterson Mansion, she's wearing the Hope Diamond with her. Because it's the party trick, right? Ooh, you got the infamous Hope Diamond. Is it hers? And she's like, conversation starter, right?
Yeah.
Glasses. Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma. I was thinking, could this be Mahatma?
Can you guess what embassy's right behind him? Big white building.
India has no Americans. How so?
It's probably the Chinese and Russian. Tank oil from Russia. Comes from the Ukraine war.
I'll take a picture with Mahatma as we walk back.
You can actually go inside this place. One of the few spaces that's original to the owners of the buildings. It's called the Lars Anderson Home, or the Society of the Cincinnati. I'll explain what in the world is George Washington doing outside today.
The Society of the Cincinnati.
This is the United States' oldest fraternal organization. Post-American Revolution, we start getting early, what we would call veterans groups. To be a member of the Society of Cincinnati, you have to have a direct descendant who had served as an officer in the Continental Army. So if you just have a family member in the Revolution, that's the sons or daughters. Most people can join that. This is much more exclusive. Washington himself founds this society for the officer corps and gets a lot of flack from it back then because as we're creating a new country, that doesn't look good if there's a hereditary organization where we just overthrew that kind of system from us. But it's here, this is their national headquarters, because both the husband and wife, both of their families have direct descendants who were officers in the Revolution. Lars Anderson, his family makes their money after the Revolution in Ohio. Big land speculation. This is these two. His great uncle was the commander of Fort Sumter in South Carolina.
really?
That's
Charles?
it. So that's his great uncle.
That's where the Civil War began.
His father, Nicholas Longworth Anderson, has a couple of kids. His relative is Nicholas Longworth right down the street. That's his cousin. He's going to marry Isabel Wells Perkins. She's from a very old, very wealthy Bostonian family. Now, Lars is unique of people we've been talking about because he's not a military officer. He served in the Foreign Service in the State Department. He goes from lowly diplomat all the way up to minister to Belgium. He is the ambassador to Japan for a few months. He received several awards from European countries. But they built this home in 1903.
1903.
Yeah. This was their winter residence. So what happened is, this whole wing of the house is still open. That whole wing they still use for society members. They'll come and stay here, or they'll come and hold events here. So I actually have photos of inside. Let me pull this up for y'all here. I actually drop a pin, they'll either pick you up on that side.
Yeah, so guys, I just finished my Dupont tour, and this was our tour guide. I hope we can use your videos on my socials.
I'm always good, man. That's appreciate
Okay, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also follow me on Instagram, and let's share. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.